You're tuned into news across the galaxy, where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
What a ball for Ricky Peach.
News across the galaxy. Keep on nagging, guys. Your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Man, it's been a minute since I've heard that song. Happy Sunday, everyone. Sorry that we haven't put a show out in a few months. It's been a little rough. But here, we're back. So, thank you. Let's get it going. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. My name is Eddie. Today, I have Edgar with me. What up, Edgar? We got Brian in the ones and twos. Oh, countdown's going, huh? How many minutes are we in? He's fighting it. And very, very special guest, Alex Napoles from KSL Sports on RSL, the RSL Show on KSL Sports. Thank you for joining us today. Very, very important to have you today for two reasons. One, and the reason I'm here today, is very specific because you're on, Edgar's on, give me 1 second here, and Brian's on. Now, I didn't ask you this, but I don't care. Today, I'm going to assume you are a Utah Jazz fan, and on behalf of all Laker fans and the rest of the NBA, in more colorful language, forget your two teams. You guys screwed us over for 10 years at least.
In what way, man?
Oh, in what way? Edgar, do you know? Yeah? Yeah, oh, okay. First off, the Clippers gifted the recent NBA MVP and Finals MVP to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They also gifted them a unprotected first round pick in the upcoming draft. And the Utah Jazz also gifted the Oklahoma City Thunder an unprotected first round draft pick in this upcoming draft, which is supposed to be one of the more talented classes coming up. And mind you, it doesn't seem like the Thunder was a fluke. What is it, like 13-1 now or something like that?
They're building a dynasty, man.
Yeah.
They really are, and I hope that the for the sake of the Utah Jazz and for the sake of that franchise, I hope that, so it is a conveyed pick, right? So if it's anything lower than 8, it will be conveyed to OKC. But if it's a top 8 pick, the Jazz can keep it. So hopefully the Jazz tank enough this season that they don't have to give away that pick.
There you go. Well, I'm more upset at the Clippers. So.
See, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at the Jazz.
They gave them so much more.
And I think the Jazz and Lakers play this week, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was today. I got a notification because I've been looking up. Oh,
it's Tuesday.
We're actually gonna go visit Chewy in a few weeks, so I've kind of been looking up events out there, and you know how like obviously technology just knows all your business, so it's sending me updates about what's going on in Utah, and they're like Lakers and Jazz. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not there yet. But anyways, man, it's all joking. I mean, the Clippers write these jokes themselves, so I'll leave them alone. Um, let's get back to little soccer. And by the way, I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I wasn't able to get on after the Dodgers won. And the reason I'm wearing this hat today is because in a country now where they're trying to make every league a parity league, right? Like the NBA we just talked about has had seven different champions in the last 7 years. It's kind of nice to live in a city where we get to win back to back, you know, and where the rest of the country probably won't in any sport in a long time. So, I mean, look at the Galaxy. They win one, and then let's not talk about that.
I was looking at a chart the other day that was talking about LA just consistently winning champions over the course of the last couple seasons, because you have the Dodgers winning the World Series, LAFC winning an MLS Cup recently, LA Galaxy winning an MLS Cup recently. Then you have, of course, the Rams winning the Super Bowl in the 2021, and so it's been a couple years of just consistent winning from LA teams.
Yeah, I mean, we don't count one of those. You could guess which one.
I think I have an idea.
Yeah, but it's pretty crazy. Right? We're so spoiled. Like we do bad one year, and we're like, there's like cities that never even sniffed a final. You know, so Edgar, you're doing great, by the way, buddy.
I'm just waiting for Edgar to join in on the conversation.
Hold on. How long have we been on? Oh shit! Hold on, I'm getting double echo here. Okay, cool. Have we hit the mark? All right. All right. Anyways, all right. So we'll get into a little Galaxy first, and shout out to all the fans that showed up yesterday. I sure as hell wasn't gonna do it. First off, I'm not a fan of friendlies, like especially if they're not free. I'm not gonna go out of my way and spend money. And we live in LA where we skip all the crappy seasons, so definitely not gonna catch me out there in the rain. So if you're a Galaxy fan and you made it out to that Galaxy America game, my hat's off to you. Although I didn't watch the game, but I saw the highlights. I saw like obviously what social media put up. It looked like it was majority Club America fans, which no surprise there, but I still hate to see it because I love my club. I love this league, and even when it comes to U.S. nationals team, right? Depending on who they play, it doesn't feel like you're at home, right? When it's a foreign team, it always feels like you're the away team, and I don't know how much longer that's gonna last, but did I buy that minute for Edgar yet? All right, Edgar. This one's for Edgar. Athletic, we're still looking for a sponsor. All right. Edgar, no thoughts on that? No, come on, man. I'm not even trying to bait you. It's good. You did it.
Am I out of the sin bin?
Yeah. No, you did.
Right, I'm out of the penalty box. I'm gonna go and check somebody real hard into the boards right now. Bah! Get back in there. Get a 5-minute major. Alex. Last time I was out there, we watched Utah Hockey Club against the LA Kings.
That's right.
And it's been a big transformation, right, for the Delta Center and for hockey. Our Salt Lake City is trying really hard to become a home for more professional sports. We hear rumors of maybe Major League Baseball expansion to Portland, Vegas, and then of course Salt Lake City's name is thrown in there. I've been there. I've been to a baseball game there before. The people out there love baseball. So, is there any reason to believe that maybe Major League Baseball will end up there in the city?
They're trying their hardest. They're trying their very, very best. There was recently a plot that was bought near downtown Salt Lake where they're going to make a bunch of like fancy apartments and townhomes, and they're going to expand a whole area there. And they have plans for a baseball stadium to go along with that neighborhood, an actual MLB stadium for what they hope can bring in an MLB team to Salt Lake City.
Well, the big news obviously this week, and it's something that you're part of our group chat there with a bunch of MLS, podcasters and journalists, and I'm sure like it was a topic of discussion everywhere across the country because it is like a huge seismic shift in the history of Major League Soccer. I'm talking about, of course, the biggest thing we all know about now, how MLS is completely flipping the
Whoa, whoa,
schedule.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Go ahead.
Hold
Yeah.
on, Edgar. That's kind of like you. We got to bury the lead here, bro. That's kind of where we're going last.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had asked you.
This is your preview.
Okay,
It's
great,
like
a
a
great
trailer.
teaser. Edgar, such the tease. Anyways, uh, did you get to see the Galaxy America match, Edgar?
No, man, I was busy playing with my son. I keep getting like notices about it and highlights, and I thought about going because a lot of people know that I'm a Club America fan, but I was like, "There's no way you could have paid me to go sit there in the rain," uh, which is pretty much a powder keg. A lot of America fans, pumped up to see their team, and a bunch of disgruntled Galaxy fans, and then you have to sit there in the rain, and then obviously we saw that a fight broke out, and not just anywhere, not just in the stands, but in the really nice. I want to say fancy, but it's nice. The American Express Lounge is like it's like what the hell? The last time I saw a fight like that was like in my high school's cafeteria, which was pretty nice actually. My high school and people just throwing chairs and
so,
throwing
so,
launching bodies over the tables and stuff like that.
so I wonder if we can get some insight on that, or context on that, because if you're not familiar with the Amex Lounge, you need a special ticket,
Yeah,
and you need to have an American Express. So the fact that these people made it up there, I wonder if they like bum rushed it,
they
or if
did.
they were just like, oh, they did. Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's what I
Brian, do
heard.
you
I
happen to have
heard
that
that.
footage the queued? Okay, but it's disappointing, right? I was talking to someone a minute ago before we got on about how my first soccer experience as a kid was terrible, because I think it was a Gold Cup. I think it was Mexico, Brazil, Brazil being the invited team, and U.S. and Guatemala at the Coliseum. One, it was raining. Two, like Edgar mentioned, those four, three teams, I don't think Brazil is much of an issue, but the other three teams, it's a powdered keg, right? You put together. So me as a little kid, if you've been to the Coliseum, you walk through those little hallways to get to the
Oof.
seats.
Yeah.
It was just pushing, shoving, cursing in the rain and everything. It was a terrible experience. So you think about something like this, right? And then just add that you're in the Amex Lounge. So you take someone taking their kids or their family, people visiting, like, oh, come check out our stadium, and we're gonna go to this nice exclusive. Let's just call it exclusive, although it's not totally exclusive, but um, Amex Lounge, and then that happens. Like, it's such a bad look, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't think it's ever happened, right? Up there, at least.
No. People were saying somebody had posted online that there were a couple of sheriff's deputies there, and they're just watching. They're just like letting it happen. Um, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like in the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, when the orcs finally like break through and they start charging into like the hall and everything, and they're like, "We're done for. What do we do?" But unfortunately for the galaxy, there was no Gandalf to come and save the day.
I
But
caught
at
zero of
least
that.
the match ended in a the match ended in a very diplomatic 2-2 draw.
Oh yeah. So
Let's
this
see
this is
this. Look at
basically
this, Alex.
enjoy. I wasn't aware of the song. All right, there we go. Sorry, I wasn't aware of the song. So
See, you could tell that the people that were coming up in there. By the way, that band that made that song, Utah Saints, that's what they're called. Anyway, um, yeah, the you could tell those people were not in the MX lounge because they were coming up wearing tarps and like rain gear, and they just like forced their way in there. So yeah, yeah.
But anyways, I'm not a big fan of these friendlies. Shit like that can happen. And again, like I mentioned, when Edgar was silent, I hate the fact that when they go to our stadium and we're an away team, right? I don't know if that happens in Salt Lake when the U.S. plays or Salt Lake plays against a Latin American team. Does it happen there too? Or you guys are away team?
Absolutely. We actually played Club America here in Leagues Cup earlier this season. There were that first game for Real Lake at a coming into Leagues Cup was against Club America, and the stadium was basically yellow. It's never surprises me to see how much a team like Club America, how much pull they have, even even in a place like Salt Lake. But it is unfortunate that the games have to end up that way. It's unnecessary. I don't think there's any reason why we should have environments like that when we play those friendlies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
totally.
interesting too
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
yeah, I was gonna say in the matches involving Liga MX teams in Leagues Cup, at least to my knowledge, it was mostly civil. There were some people that were talking crap to each other, but it never came to the point where people were throwing hands, and if they did, it was squashed right away. Most of the time, everybody was having a good time, but so it makes you wonder what made everybody so pissed off, right? On a day where it's raining, and it's like take it easy. Neither team is gonna benefit from a win or a loss or anything on this match. A it's just a cash grab, on a lousy day, and I don't know. It's weird. Maybe a lot of those Liga MX fans were upset that MLS was switching their schedule or something.
El pinche América, güey, te digo.
Hey, hey,
Moving on. So, Brian, do you have any sad music? And if you're listening to this right now, I hope or either you're sitting down or just take a seat because I don't know how this news is going to hit you if you haven't heard. So, do you have any sad music, Brian? If not, I will just do my best to. Okay, so yeah, it's fine. Just no music. So, the Galaxy um, released their player options for the 2026 contract, or I should say 2025 expiring contracts. So unfortunately, declined contracts involved one, Miguel Berry, and the King Casserole, Eric Zabaleta. We've seen the last of them in Galaxy uniforms. Guys, we're going to be okay. Or is 2026 a bust?
man, the only person I know that was sad that Miguel Berry left was our buddy Tommy from Scars and Spikes. He's a big like Miguel Berry stan, and when we told him what happened, he's like, "No, no, no, it can't be. That's my boy." And I was like, "Damn, that dude hasn't been with Atlanta for like 3 or 4 seasons, and you still stand for this guy, man." It reminds me of that video, that Miguel Berry video. Say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Miguel Berry.
Jeez.
Hey, you know what though? Back in 2024, when Rouse Lake headed down there to Dignity Health Sports Park, Rouse Lake was up 2-1, and then in the 94th minute, Miguel Berry puts one past Zach McMath, and that's how I'll remember Miguel Berry.
Oh, is that the game where like a fan was apparently talking shit to Miguel Berry and he runs to the sideline and like, starts yelling back at the fan?
Yeah,
Galaxy fan.
Yep, that was that game.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna hold on to that. That's my Miguel Berry memory there forever. So another player that also had their contract declined, but I think we all saw this coming, and I don't think this means he's out. Is Diego Fagundes, right? We believe that maybe they're gonna restructure his salary, or I don't know, maybe he wants the money, he'll go somewhere else. For context, Alex, I don't know how much you're aware with Fagundes' contract. He's basically a TAM player, right? And then the way MLS works, in order to be a TAM player, you got to put up some numbers. And when everyone's healthy, Fagundes is someone coming off the bench, playing limited and a rotation player. So that's not one you want to spend your money on. So no surprise there as far as that goes. I don't think I'll be surprised whether he stays or he goes somewhere else. If the guy wants his money, let him get his money. You know, it's MLS, dude. These guys can't retire off that 16K they make a year.
16K. Jeez. I think I haven't made this since I was in high school.
Wait, you make more than 16K?
No, I'm just kidding.
Damn, fucking rich guy.
No, at the writer's, writer's paycheck, man.
Like you got your own fancy room. I'm using a fake ass background. I'm like
This is
in a basement here. See, me and Alex got like he's got his background blurred. We don't know where he is.
I got it blurred,
you
man.
guys. This is the NAGn Studio submarine. Remember I told you? It's all
You got a
big up.
submarine? Jesus.
That's where all those those super chat money went to buying a submarine.
Damn.
It was after that crazy NAG party after they won MLS Cup, where like there was a handshake and Banny was brought back for another year, and while everybody was passed out, I went and bought a submarine. So there you go.
I'm not happy. Anyways,
Sorry.
contracts that were picked up: John Nelson, Mauricio Cuevas, Tucker Lepley, Parente, and Gio Vivi. I guess Vivi would be the only surprise, kind of, sort of. 'Cause I doesn't even know where that he was there. To be quite honest, I didn't even know he was ours still.
The last I heard, he was on a loan and to a team in Costa Rica.
Saprissa, right?
Yeah. So to hear he's still there, I mean, well,
Maybe there's value in him like that. Maybe
Yeah.
he just hasn't. I don't know. I guess we haven't seen enough of him because he was on loan. So, and then extended contracts. Right? This is where it gets a little interesting. Goalkeeper Brady Scott. No, I mean we need another keeper, right? Assuming that Brady Scott will probably remain number 3 if we go after somebody else, or we still have Mike Wazowski, right, as our second keeper.
yeah.
And then the one that's a little bit of a surprise, but maybe if just bear with me, go down this road with me. Christian Ramirez, right? Christian Ramirez got re-signed. What if he's now he's taking Miguel Berry's spot, right? He is slightly better than Berry, but you need that third guy, right? Whether you're playing a game with 2 forwards and then you need someone to come off the bench, or Galaxy's history with injuries, you need that third guy. So it makes a little sense if because we don't know what's going to happen with Nascimento, and because Vanny said that they're focusing on a number 9, right, in a press conference. So that probably means the end of Nascimento, and I'm not totally mad at it if he's going to be number 3.
Yeah, one of the rumors I heard was LA Galaxy was interested in Sandejas from Club America. He obviously was here yesterday, so it's something to look at. Alejandro Sandejas, obviously, he's a player that he's in the prime of his career right now. He's playing with the U.S. And we might see a lot from him if he makes that move to MLS. He spent most of his career. I mean, most of his career with Liga MX after starting with FC Dallas. So for him to make a return to MLS wouldn't be so far-fetched.
Oops, sorry, my bad. I was just trying to find this graphic. I found.
I see. We know what you're watching.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to find this graphic with the free agents. I found it, guys. Yeah, I will. But to what Edgar was talking about, I'll kill this Zendejas rumor right now. He's like their most consistent player, right? I have a cousin that is, yeah. He could. Brian could tell you. We'll talk shit about any U.S. player, but he fucking loves Zendejas, right? So. He's their most consistent player. They love him there. And if you know anything about Liga MX, these players don't come cheap. So we're not getting Zendejas. I'll kill it right now. I'll bet your house on it, Edgar, since you have a house. I'll bet your submarine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anyway, so I'll start reading some of these off because it might take a minute to get this graphic out to Brian. But next I wanted to talk about free agency and MLS and some of the noticeable players that are free agents. And this is where I kind of want to bring in Alex as well because my cat feeder. So just like It's like us, your season is over, right? Gone fishing. So, you know, we obviously follow the Galaxy. We're not too familiar with RSL and what they need. It's not, except for like Diego Luna, right? Like that's the only person we know. Great actor, by the way. Um, so have you? I don't know if you've seen the noticeable free agents. There's Espinosa from San Jose, Zimmerman from Nashville, Joseph Martinez from San Jose. I guess one of your players, Aganda, is a free agent as well. And Montreal's, I'm not even going to try to say that name. Sean Johnson from Toronto. And Mason Toy from Kansas. Oh, my God, Miguel Berry. And then Long from Toronto and Morales from St. Louis.
Did you
All
say Joseph
free.
Martinez is also in there?
Yeah, Joseph Martinez got released too. So as far as RSL goes, what do you feel you fell short? What do you guys need? Is there anyone just out of this list that you might be able to pick out? I mean, the name here, I think Zimmerman will help any team.
Yeah.
But outside of that, anybody, I think Zimmerman would be good for anyone, but I think Zimmerman is going to come at a price. I feel everybody else here though comes at a discount.
When it comes to RSL, I feel like they're really in a spot. So the GM or our sporting director Kurt Schmidt came out and said in his exit interview that right now Real Salt Lake isn't. They aren't pressing and getting ready to rebuild, but they are getting ready to reset. They need to reset a lot on the attack. They need to reset on the defensive side of the ball. I think the two guys at the top of the list right there that you see on the screen, Christian Espinoza and Walker Zimmerman, I think any team would be extremely lucky to have both of those guys or either one of those guys on their roster. I think Christian Espinoza still brings a lot to a team. I've always loved what he's done with San Jose. I just don't think he's ever been really given the appropriate spotlight because he does play with San Jose, and most of the time San Jose isn't a team that's contending for a playoff spot or really being, world beaters or really doing anything exciting. But Christian Espinoza is one of those bright guys in a struggling team, and so I think either one of those guys, Real Salt Lake has to be at the table making some type of offer to either one of those guys. If not, then I think it's a big miss, especially when you have one of the worst seasons in club history when it comes to conceding goals last season. And that I'm referring to, of course, you bring in Zimmerman, that can really boost your defense. And then last season, man, the creativity on the offense just wasn't there. The ability to score goals wasn't there. And I think you can get a lot of that with Christian Espinoza playing off the wing. And so that both of those guys at the top of the list, I think would be phenomenal for any team to have. Joseph Martinez, I'm not convinced on him anymore. I don't know how you guys feel about him, but I think his time has passed, unfortunately. I think he did some interesting and fun things with San Jose this past season, but the reality is he is aging. I just don't. He's not DP. He's not a DP level player in this league anymore. I don't think. Willie gotta no. And then I don't think there's not really many other players on that list that excite me besides the one at the top two.
Fair enough. And
regarding
then
Joseph, I was going to say that with Tata returning to Atlanta United,
Yeah.
there was the report also that Joseph was in Atlanta this past week, visiting his dentist. Surprise, surprise, the guy has veneers, but I guess he was there, getting them checked out. But hey, Tata's back in town, and Miggy's back in town, trying to bring the whole band back like it's 2018, and see if they can run it back. Galaxy fans will tell you that bringing back, older players doesn't always equate to success. We've seen that with Edson Butto. We've seen that with Landon Donovan. We've seen that bringing back Shiggy Schmidt. It's just never the same. They were saying the first time around. I mean, the second time around. The only time I ever saw a player come back and be successful, like really, really successful, was Alan Gordon, because his first goal with the Galaxy was awful. Then he left, murdered us a few times, and then he came back, and he became like a Galaxy legend after that.
Yeah. A question for you, Alex. One thing that I forgot to ask and mention: any fear or rumors of Luna actually leaving RSL in the winter?
Maybe not this winter. There probably would have been concern on my part had Pablo Mastroeni not been extended. But him and Pablo Mastroeni have a really, really fantastic relationship, and I think a big reason why he's stuck around this past season was because of Pablo, and so re-signing Pablo, bringing back Mastroeni as your head coach, and keeping that relationship, I think that helps convince Diego Luna to stay. Plus, I think with the comments Mauricio Pochettino has made in the past about valuing playing time over where you play, I think it'll make a difference, right? Because he's a consistent starter in Major League Soccer. He's getting more than enough playing time with Real Salt Lake, and so I think he's doing everything he can to boost up his resume, right, heading into a World Cup year. I think he'll want to stay. I think the Real Soccer are going to do everything in their power to make sure he stays at least through the World Cup, and then after the World Cup, it might be a different conversation.
Well, you know what? I got an interesting proposal for you, man. This way, I forgive you too. We do like the most, historic thing. We do a crossover sports trade. You guys send Diego Luna, and we send LeBron James to the Utah Jazz. Boom! Everybody is happy.
You know what, man? I think if it was 2 years ago, the deal would probably be tempting. But Luna's younger; he's still got his whole career ahead of
Wait a
him.
minute, wait a minute. I'm gonna spice it up.
Hold on. If younger is what you're worried about, we got a kid by the name Bronny.
Hey, I was gonna say, hey, we could throw in, Kawhi Leonard, and you can have Paul George. I mean, not Paul George is gone. I mean, like Baron Davis. Well, he's gone too. What am I thinking around here? Oh my god! Or old point guards. CP3. You could have him. I mean, who else? Who else are we giving them? Over here, we're just giving you all these old LA players, NBA players.
Sounds like
We
it,
can have
man.
Diego Luna. What do you say?
You know what? If I was in charge, if I was a GM, I'd take it. I'd do it. Why not?
There you go. You get LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard. You get CP3.
Yeah, man. Imagine those jersey
and,
sales. Just having LeBron James in a mountain basketball jersey, man. Let's go.
But you'll never get to go to a Utah Jazz game again because the prices are just gonna go.
Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones was the shit, man.
Eddie Jones. Damn.
So here's some trivia for you. Eddie Jones is the only Lakers jersey I ever owned.
Hey, man, that's the only smart NBA purchase you've ever made. So, all right, guys, let's move on from that. That was fun. Actually, Edgar, I should ask you, as far as the free agency list, do you see anyone there for us that you would maybe bring in, whether at a discount or, well, we don't even have DP, so I'm gonna say like a Zimmerman, but I don't think we could even do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's either one of the first two, man. Those two address two of the biggest needs. Well, we already discussed this before. We have needs along the entire spine of this team. At striker, and midfield. Center back, and even a better goalkeeper. I keep saying it. We need a much better goalkeeper than we have now. A lot of times when he makes good saves, we're surprised because we forgot what it's like to have a good goalkeeper. But yeah, having somebody like Walker Zimmerman in that defense would make such a huge difference and would be a great mentor to somebody like Emilio Garces. And then having Christian Ramirez up top. Oh my God, that would be amazing. So wait, did I say Christian Ramirez?
Yeah, you did say Christian Ramirez.
I mean Espinosa. I'm sorry.
You're right over there.
Sorry. No, having Espinosa up there would be fantastic because it would address one of the biggest needs this team has been missing since Jovic left. So, and it's somebody you could build a team around too as well.
Yep. Unfortunately for us, unfortunately for Alex, this is MLS, and we're playing with Monopoly money or where the fuck it is. It's yeah. So moving on, let's get into some MLS news, right? We're gonna still leave the main event for last, but some news coming out right now that Wilfred Nancy seems to be done with Columbus Crew and headed to Celtic. Edgar broke this news for me. I'm glad he's going to Celtic because, yeah, my spidey senses was directly when like, oh shit, he's gonna go to that other team. I don't want him to go there because I respect Wilfred Nancy. I don't want to hate Wilfred Nancy, but that's
no. Wilfred Nancy is a big name, and when we had episodes with of the Wooden Spoon Collective with the Montreal guys, They talk about how awful the Saputos have like run that team and all the issues with the club and how many times did they make public apologies and how they're hoping to turn the corner at some point. And then you mentioned, you guys pretty much, you had Wilfred Nancy, you had one of the best teams in MLS, and you could see their faces just like, oh no, don't bring that up again, because it's something that really bugs them. I mean, obviously, Montreal was such a great team with him, and then there was some disagreement with ownership there, and we see that there's, I guess it's a recurring issue because their manager just left as well. Montreal's manager, he goes to Columbus. Okay, Eddie, what is it, Eddie?
One last jab, I promise. Who do you think? Who do you think is more upset? Montreal for letting go of Wilfred Nancy, or Clipper fans for trading SGA?
Man, when I saw that happen the first time, I was upset. I was like, no, no. We had Dave Johnson on here for the last Spoon Collective. He covers the NBA. He's the voice of the Wizards, and we brought that up how like the Clippers made such a huge gamble, right? And he's like, yeah, sometimes it works for you, but it's such a bad thing to give away so much for something that never really paid off.
You fools are playing the roulette table when you put all your chips on 0-0. that's what. That's what you. Play the table, bro. Play the table. God damn. Sorry. Not even my team and I get upset because of how bad that trade was.
No, but Wilfred Nancy leaving, well deserved. He's obviously a quality manager. He has the respect not only of his players but of his peers and other players from across the league. For him to go to Celtic, man, more power to him. I guess it shows that MLS doesn't just produce quality players; it can also produce quality managers. They can go on to obviously Celtic's not a European powerhouse, but they have a name and they have a certain pedigree, and so
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, like, what's the future of Columbus Crew? Because they're one of those teams, like we talk about the Seattle Sounders, we talk about, uh, Columbus Crew in the East, right? These are teams that are consistently good because they have that a good relationship with their players and their managers and ownership. And now they're missing something. Maybe they got something else lined up that we don't know about. But right now, like, it's not a done deal. But the writing is on the wall, as we always
Yeah,
say.
it seems like I looked it up and it's like everywhere, right? It's not like one source. It's like everywhere. So it seems like that's gonna happen. But I don't know if you're the same, Alex. The way me and Brian have talked about this, like we love this league. When we hear players go overseas, we almost feel like a proud parent. Like when they do something, we're like, ah, there you go, Miggy. Like when Miggy scored his first goal for Newcastle, it was like, oh my god, it was, yeah. So I don't know if you feel the same way. So like, but I'm just hoping he's successful wherever he goes.
No, I definitely feel the same way because it's big for Major League Soccer. I think that there's still in the world market, in the global scale of things, I think MLS, there's still a big stigma behind it. So anytime you're able to export a player or coach, and they go overseas and they're successful, I think that's massive for the league. In the case of Wilfred Nancy, though, I'd be very happy for him to make the move over to Celtic because I think he's earned it and I think he's deserved it. Unfortunate for Columbus and the Columbus Crew fans because I think if he ends up walking out and leaving, I think that Columbus team is probably set for a big reset. I think they fell short of expectation this season's, and right, they had the early elimination to Cincinnati, and so I think they'll probably end up having to push a little bit of a reset button too over there in Columbus with the departure of Nancy.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about Cincinnati. When we had Jeff from Cincy Sports Talk last week, uh, I mentioned how for the longest time, the FC Cincinnati has been under the shadow of Columbus Crew, right? Who's had much more success, not just in MLS, but it seems that there's been kind of like a passing of the torch, or I guess kind of ripped it away from them. After this last Hell's Real in the MLS playoffs, and it seems like FC Cincinnati set up for long term success. Well, Columbus Crew is about to go through like a really deep valley, so we'll see how they do because they have good ownership, I think. So when you have a good owner, you don't stay down for too long.
Yeah.
We do have a super chat.
They were able to win with Caleb Porter, bro. That's pretty impressive. To this day, I will die on that hill that Berhalter built that team for him, and he left it easy for him to win.
I agree, especially after what we've seen Caleb Porter do since then. I'm right there with you, man.
Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with us, like as Galaxy rumors. One way they confirm it is that they're courtside at a Laker game. So Caleb Porter was rumored, and he was courtside at a Laker game, and I was just like, "Fuck!" and it fell through. It fell through. It was real. It was very real, and it fell through.
Was this after Portland, or was it after he left Columbus?
After Columbus.
Okay.
No. After Portland. After Portland, because I remember people like went at me like, "Oh, you see, we could have won." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. I don't know you, but you're stupid. I'm sorry." Anyways, we do have super chat. Edgar loves super chat, so I'm gonna let him. Submarine, since it goes to his diesel fuel or whatever the fuck submarines run on.
It's a hamster field.
There you go.
Adam,
More
thank you
hamsters.
so much, man. We really appreciate it. $10 super chat. He asked, and he just missed it too. Did you guys go over any free agents that stand out for you guys, or any realistic free agents you guys would want either of your teams you cover to sign? We just literally went over this, but we can do a recap, right?
Yeah. Well, real quick, realistically, the top two we can't take because we don't have slots.
Yeah,
Right?
bring up the graphic again, if you can.
Making Brian work overtime. Hell yeah. No pay. Yeah. So top two, Espinoza and Zimmerman. I guess is what we would want, but we don't have the space for them as far as salary goes. So definitely. I mean, realistically, no. Hey, Sean Johnson could be a number two keeper, I guess. Alex.
Realistically, I mean, I look at this list. Realistically, Ross, like there's a couple names on that list that Ross like can realistically go after, because we do have room. We do have a little bit of wiggle room, and we're also trying to figure out what we're going to do with our other DP slot. And so there is wiggle room in our roster to maybe pick up, Mason Toy as a backup striker, or a Miguel Berry as a backup striker, but I mean, just looking at the names. Again, nothing really excites me except the top two, which to get the top two, I think you would have to break the bank a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what's true? I just Googled Mason Toy. I was like, are we sleeping on Mason Toy? Because he had one decent season with Minnesota, right? I think. And then last year he only scored 3 goals, but then I see something that stands out. He's only 26.
Yeah.
So he's 6'3". 6'3" striker. You need a goal at the end, throw him in the box. Maybe that's a sleeper right there. I mean, we had Miguel Berry, for God's sakes, last year, so we can't be too picky. Or submarine money.
We're going underwater, folks. Adam, $2 super chat asks, "What about a TAM deal for Zimmerman?"
I got this one. Adam, call him, see what happens. See what he tells you.
Yeah, man. And Zimmerman, by the way, if you guys aren't familiar, he looks exactly like Thor from the Marvel films. So can you imagine all the all the great marketing you could do with him?
Time out. Not even a 10 deal. I just forgot. Alex, you can have him. Fuck Zimmerman. He still called us Carson when he went to Nashville. Yeah. Yeah.
I just had a conversation with my podcast guys, and we were talking about Zimmerman and him becoming available, and we said Rouse Lake for some reason likes picking up LAFC rejects or former LAFC players. So I mean, he fits right along with what Rouse Lake likes to go for.
There you go. He's headed up. Just hopefully he behaves better than yeah, let's not talk about him.
I can't even mention his name, man.
No. He might get us on a list or something.
I'm already on that list.
Oh shit! Hey, whoa.
No, I'm kidding.
Really proud you went with that one. Fuck.
Oh man. Adam, hey man, thank you so much. This submarine's gonna be floating really good next season. Fagundes was on a TAM deal. Oh, but it's $5 super chat. Fagundes was on a TAM deal, and his salary was way too much for his performance this season. Yes, I think everybody's performance was too much for what they earned this season.
Yeah, seriously. Should have been paying the fans last year.
No, it was pretty bad, man. Um, I don't know. I feel like Fagundes has two options. Either he comes back to LA Galaxy for less than what he earns now, obviously, or he tries to return back either to Austin or to the Revs where he started. Um, I don't know how badly those two teams would want him. I know Austin fans miss him, but he has in the times Galaxy's played against Austin. I think there's been some scrapes with the fans, so um, maybe he burned the bridge or two with them. But having him come back LA Galaxy in a more limited role, I would. I think that's the most likely thing.
I think
Alex, from your point of view, what do you think? Sorry, Eddie, I just want to
no,
hear
no, go
his
for it.
point of
Alex.
view
Take it, take it.
because we're in an echo chamber. I want to hear what Alex thinks about. First of all, what do you think about a player of his caliber, and do you think he's somebody that a team like RSL or other MLS teams would want?
I think when it comes to a guy like Diego Fagundes, and I'll throw Walker Zimmerman into this category too, is that Fagundes is 30, Zimmerman is 32. Realistically, I don't know what the market looks like for both of them outside as far as bringing in free agent deals, but realistically, they also have to be aware that I mean, there are going to be some teams in Major League Soccer that are going to maybe want to take that gamble on an aging designated player, and meet those contract demands. But hopefully, they recognize that now that they're in the latter part of their stages, they might have to settle for a TAM deal if they want to end up on an actual contender, right? Because I think if you're a team like Cincinnati, if you're a team like I don't know. Whoever's at the top, New York City FC, even maybe. I don't know if they'd want to, invest all this money, this DP money on guys who have been in this league for a minute. They still can contribute a lot, but they are getting up there in age. And in this day and age in Major League Soccer, it seems like everybody wants to favor a little bit more of the younger guys.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Fagundes, he has a choice, right? Either he accepts his pay cut, becomes a role player, or big fish in a small pond. It's really up to him.
What's more important, the money or winning an MLS Cup, man?
And then it's tough, right? Because like I mentioned, playing in MLS, it's like he's got a family. You want to, money isn't really flying in when
Right.
you play in MLS, so you can't be mad at him.
No, you absolutely can't. But I think there are teams that are on the lower part of the table that I think would be willing to take that gamble to maybe drop, a higher deal for a Diego Fagundes or a higher deal for a Walker Zimmerman. But at the same time, they're probably going to be the best players on a weak team, right? They're going to be the best guys on teams that aren't really contenders. They might sneak into the playoffs, but the reality is they're not heavy hitters in Major League Soccer. And so I think, especially in a case like for someone like Diego Fagundes, where you probably are going to be a role player on a contending team, you might have to take that pay cut if you're ring chasing.
We have another super chat.
I know. I just thought, super chat.
No. This awesome submarine has to get going. Eddie, super chat from our buddy Nicole. Thank you so much, Nicole. We really appreciate it. She doesn't have a question. They didn't say anything. She just decided out of the kindness of her heart to give us $10. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole.
She wants to keep the submarine rolling. That's all.
This submarine almost sank to the bottom of the ocean this year.
She doesn't want you to end up like those billionaires. That's all.
Oh no! Dear God, no!
Oh yeah, Edgar.
Wait, what?
How are you gonna steer your submarine without this?
Dear God.
Oh man, yeah. If you don't get that joke, I apologize. All right, let's move on. More MLS news. So I think this one's a little interesting, right? And I want to kind of get into a bit of a discussion about this. So they announced that MLS Season Pass will no longer be behind a paywall on Apple TV. So if you're a regular Apple TV subscriber, you will now be able to watch all MLS games. So, which I think it was Eli that brought it up. Why wasn't it like this before? Because I didn't even really think about this. But if you have Peacock, you don't need a premium for the Premier League, right? And you can't tell me that there's less people willing to pay for the Premier League than there is MLS. So I guess my question and my mind goes in two different directions. So one, I would love to see the numbers. Like, was this a failure? Like, were the ratings, the viewership so low that they had to do this, or they're looking for a spike because we're going into a World Cup year next year. So do they feel like there's going to be super popularity? So let's get as many eyes as we can on MLS. I mean, how are you guys feeling about that? What do you think?
I think to your point, it's probably a little bit of both, right? Because
Pop
it is,
out? No, I'm just
it's
kidding.
no, it
I'm
is a
scared.
little bit of
I'm
both.
kidding.
Because it is a World Cup year. You want more eyes on this league. You want the popularity of the league to be in a good spot heading into that World Cup. But at the same time, I don't, you know, they didn't put out the numbers on purpose. They don't, let you know how many people subscribe on purpose, and that's because I think that realistically, it wasn't as popular. People spending $80 to watch Major League Soccer, right? If you're a casual, you're not going to go and drop $80 to watch season pass, and so I feel like this helps to attract some of those casuals and get them watching MLS games.
Edgar?
I'm sorry. No, I still feel like this Apple deal. I mean, it benefited the league because it gave it a lot more visibility to a niche market. A lot of poor people are connected now to multimedia than ever before. Obviously, and it's just something that's never going to change. But I still feel like you really miss out on attracting casuals or people that are curious about the sport. Um, Whether it's really young kids, who maybe don't have access to, this kind of technology, or older people who maybe want to try it out for the first time because they've heard so much about, the sport. And so this is where like having games on broadcast TV, I think, is still missed. I know they have the free game every once in a blue moon or whatever. It's still not the same. And also, this afternoon, something interesting. I turned on, I was driving around with my kid, and I was turn on the radio, and the first thing that pops up is the most random NFL game. It was like the Cleveland Browns against the Ravens, I think, or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell? Why do I care about the Ravens? I live in LA, and I'm here on the West Coast. Why am I listening to the Ravens on our local radio station? And I was thinking, why can't MLS do something like that? Where like they have like a station that actually broadcasts games, not just like I know we have a station here in LA that broadcasts LAFC games, but having a station dedicated where they're gonna have a game or two a week for MLS, and that's stuff. A lot of people say, nobody listens to radio. Yeah, they do. People do listen to radio, and it's a way to broaden that net to try to bring in some of those other people that are interested in the league. So getting away from that thing where, let's be honest, I don't have a subscription to Apple TV, and the only reason I ever log onto it is because I'm a season ticket holder, and it was part of my package. And so I would get on there, and I would see the Apple TV, and I'm really not interested in some of the programming. But now that with this new deal that's coming out, this is where it gets interesting. Apparently, season ticket holders, it will no longer have the season pass just for MLS, but it's going to be open up to all of Apple TV. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a huge bonus for me. Thank you.
So another thing too to take in consideration is this is Apple's also first shot at live sports. They're still figuring things out. You remember last season, freaking hated it. I think I watched less MLS games that I have in years because they wanted to run all the games at the same time, right? Kickoff, so that was terrible. The paywall, that's something kind of new because we're getting the Premier League. You don't need a paywall to watch on Peacock. When MLS was on ESPN Plus, it was $5 a month. So maybe Apple's still figuring these things out as well. So we'll see where it goes. The only thing I'm afraid of is, yeah, there's gonna be no paywall, but all of a sudden you're gonna be watching the games, they're gonna be in the attack, and all of a sudden it's gonna picture in picture, and you're gonna get an ad like right in the middle of a game. That would be nightmare.
But this is something we've been getting already, right? In the middle of World Cup games, they run like little ads in the corner. Maybe they're muted or something, or maybe they're played at a lower volume. But it's something that I've seen before. It's not surprised. I've seen it in NASCAR as well. But NASCAR is a more established sport here in the U.S. where like in the middle of a race, they threw up an ad in the corner, and you're like, oh, okay, and the game is still going on, right? You can follow it. But Alex, I think you were gonna say something, right?
No, another thing too that I found interesting about this deal is that Apple no longer holds their opt out for 2027. They instead decide to go back to the drawing board with Major League Soccer, and instead and say, look, instead of going to 2032 as the original deal said, we're gonna actually now end the deal in 2029. And this goes along too with the other news that came out that we'll jump into here in just a minute. But we no longer have that opt out, so we'll go with you to the end of the deal. However, we're going to shorten the deal to 2029. So now in June 2029, once that season wraps up, I think MLS will be looking to get back onto linear TV, because they decided to end this deal earlier than expected.
All right, guys, let's start saving pennies. Let's get MLS on NAG TV and KSL Sports. Mr. Garber?
Hey, we already got Joe Tatino ready. We can have him come on, right? With
Yeah,
Eddie as doing color commentary.
fuck that. Yeah, I'll save the money. I'm like, oh, here comes in sorry ass Miguel Berry.
You can't say that, Eddie.
He's not in our team anymore. I
No, that's what
can't.
Joe Tino's gonna say. Okay,
Uh,
we have a super chat, by the way.
oh, yes. So bring that
Yes,
up.
we
Yeah, and
do.
actually,
$2 super chat. Yes, that
I'll take this
submarine
one.
is getting like a nice little
About to
screen
put
over here.
jet fuel in that fucking submarine. Anyway,
Nuclear, man, nuclear powered.
so interesting. Adam said, "Have you guys looked into the Sounders free agent?" Which
I
made
just
me
did.
think now that there's there. Yeah, I just did too. Oh, you go ahead and read them off while I read the super. Oh,
All right, these are three. Well, two of the three names are pretty commonplace. We're talking about defender Jonathan Bell, Stephen Fry, and Paul Rothrock, who he's a homegrown for them, and he he proved that he's a solid player. He's got a future ahead of him. If he doesn't, if he hasn't already established himself as like a pretty good player already. So Stephen Fry, he's there. I think he's like at his show at the end of his expiration date. As far as like a shelf life for a goalkeeper. Um, we've heard a lot of Seattle Sounders podcasters say that Stephen Fry's given us many years, but it's time for him to pass the torch. So this might be it for him. Rothrock though is a whole completely different story. I think he'd be a fantastic pickup for anybody. And then Jonathan Bell, he's just your typical center back. He's like in his late 20s, serviceable, I think. But I think the biggest name in there is Rothrock. I wouldn't
yeah.
be mad if he came to LA Galaxy. I think he's an impact player.
Also important to point out is because I don't know where you looked it up, Edgar. And as far as these free agents, Jonathan Bell, Stephen Fry, and Rothrock are the only ones that don't have player options, club options. So they are like free agents.
Yep.
I think I would be shocked if Paul Rothrock wasn't a Seattle Sounders player come next season.
Well,
I think they're going to do everything they possibly can to keep him around, and re-sign that contract, extend that contract, because he was a little bit of their breakout star this past season. But I think it would be absolutely gut wrenching for that organization to lose him on a free, man, to let him walk away on a free. Obviously, right, if there's some interest from across the pond and overseas, then maybe you have to consider taking it. But I think right now he holds all the power to negotiate as much money as he possibly wants out of Seattle.
now, Scuttlebutt, shout out to Sounders Scuttlebutt, right? Scuttlebutt is that apparently there was some issues between him and the Sounders. The Sounders thought it was gonna be a slam dunk, right? Like you said, right? This guy already established himself as a very important player, and especially in recent Sounders history. And apparently, there's been some issues, and it looks like he wants to either test the free agent market or he wants out. Testing the free agent market, obviously, you're going to have teams that might be bidding for him, and then that's going to push the Sounders to give him a much bigger contract. But if that is really the case, if he's really like, yeah, I'm going to tip out of here because you guys aren't giving me what I expected, that'd be interesting. But it might just be him, like I said, testing the free agent market. We've seen that a lot, and not just in MLS, obviously across all professional sports. So, but is he that big of a name? Who knows? I think he'd be a good pickup for LA Galaxy. So we'll see. We have another super chat. Yay! My God, Nicole, you're so sweet. Yeah, you guys haven't met Nicole. Nicole's awesome. We see her every weekend at the games. Hey, Nicole, thank you. She says hi.
We got 2 exclamation points.
Wave, Alex. Say hi.
Oh,
Wave, Alex.
sorry,
There's
sorry,
2
sorry, sorry.
exclamation points.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
So where were we? Oh yeah. So
We're talking about Rothrock.
Rothrock. Yeah, it's a cool name too.
Yeah.
Rothrock. Sounds like a Pokemon, huh? All right, main event time, guys.
Yeah.
So this is something I never saw coming, right? Considering the way this country is, and although we live in a bubble because we see rain like twice every 4 years. MLS has voted to change their schedule to basically mirror the European/FIFA schedule, and it's going to be an interesting transition, right? I saw it like in our chat, and I was a little confused by it because I know our good friend David Godina was really upset about it. But now that I look at it, we're actually getting a lot of soccer in 2027. So this is going to officially change in 2027. So it's going to be a 2027-2028 season. But to start 2027, there's going to be a 14-game season spanning from February to May, right? Then the season's going to end, and it's going to pick up again in mid-July 2027 and go all the way through to May 2028. But they're going to take a break in the winter. I don't think they've put the specific dates, but it looks like the way the graphics show, somewhere between mid-December and mid-February. So that's also an interesting part. I think that's what the Bundesliga does, right? Takes like a break in the middle. Obviously, there is a lot of things to discuss, a lot of concerns, right? We talked about viewership, right? So now they go up against the big sports. When they start in July, you're gonna maybe run into the NBA finals, right? Other seasons are gonna be running, so you're gonna go head to head with them. Obviously, when you get towards that winter break, or when you come back from that winter break, there's cities that are going to be probably in unplayable conditions, right? Like Salt Lake City, for example, it gets pretty rough in the winter. So it's actually kind of fitting that you're here, because I'd like to hear what you think and what your concerns are. Because to me, exciting, yes, but a lot of concerns.
Honestly, to me, not very many concerns on my part, because yes, they are switching to the to now a fall spring calendar, but the reality is, because there's that break in the middle, I think it'll help mitigate a lot of what is going to be those cold, like those really, really cold months. I think here in Salt Lake specifically, January is probably the worst month of it all. So if you skip over that entire month, I think it'll help out a lot. Plus, the season already starts in early February. The season already goes to late December anyway, right? MLS Cup is the first week of December. So you already have teams, and you already have people playing in those parts of the month anyway. So what's a couple, more games sprinkled into December? What's a couple more games sprinkled into February, right? Because the season's already there anyway. I know that a lot of people are concerned about the cold. I know a lot of people are concerned about those months specifically. And I think everyone's entitled to their opinions. And I think it's poor that some of the league's mouthpieces are coming out and attacking fans who are genuinely concerned about this situation. But I think everyone's blowing this a little bit more out of proportion than it needs to be.
I just got attacked right now.
Oh, it wasn't directed at you.
Hey man, this is like, look at the comments. Hey, this it's a podcast, bro. I'm just making conversation, Robert. Damn. Come at me so aggressive, ending with that LOL, laughing at me. Edgar, how you feeling about it?
I personally, I'm not a big fan, and I've been trying to figure out like what to say about it, because I keep hearing the conversation that, oh, it's 90, it's not 90% of the season overlaps with what we currently have, but I mean, to be completely honest, to me, springs always marks the beginning of Major League Baseball and Major League Soccer. and I look forward to that. I know baseball has the eternal season; it goes on forever, and I know we were always talking about going to baseball games, whatever. But to be honest, Dodger games are so expensive now that I seriously cannot justify paying that much to go see a ball game where I used to pay like $10 when I was in college. Now having to pay $10 won't even get you into the parking lot, right? Anyway, MLS though, I see it as like, I can go catch a match in the middle of summer. I can take my son, my family, and make it a day, especially on those summer evenings where maybe you don't have much to do at home. So that's something I really look forward to, tailgating, and doing all that fun stuff. Now, you switch that to a colder weather, season, and it's gonna change the way that we interact with the sport. And I know that in other cities across the league where their entertainment dollar, it's either you go to, you know, like an NHL or NBA arena and maybe now you have MLS. We have a lot of things out here, especially during those months, especially the holiday months. So at the beginning of the season, MLS season, right, we're going to be competing against the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, NCAA sports, which we have a ton of them here out here, and then you have all the stuff that's going on, concerts, and then you also have like a lot of the holiday stuff coming up. People traveling during the holidays, especially not just in December, but in the previous months as well. So and like in a metropolis like LA, there's a lot to do, and so if you're an NFL fan and you want to catch the Rams or the Chargers, and then you find out there's a Galaxy game the same day, I mean, you're gonna probably go to the Rams or the Chargers because it's a bigger ticket. If you're if you're a Laker fan and you look at the schedule and it coincides with going to a Galaxy game, you're probably gonna go to the Laker game over the Galaxy game. And let's be honest, out here in LA, we're kind of cream puffs when it comes to the weather. We're not used to sitting out in cold, frigid weather, and it gets cold over here, like in November, and even into February, it rains a lot. And so for us to go and sit at an outdoor stadium, like you see that game last night between America and Galaxy, that's going to be the norm, and in those first few months, right? Especially as we head into the fall. And so, we'd rather sit in a nice, a nice little quiet environment, like the Forum. I'm not the Forum. Sorry, like Staples Center or like uh, the Clipper Stadium, the new one, Intuit Dome, right? And so that's what we like. We don't like to go out and sit in the rain. And I know it might be like, hey Edgar, you sound like you're complaining about that, but that's just my personal opinion. I know everybody's is different, and I also don't like the fact that it's gonna mess with Leagues Cup, U.S. Open Cup, Coachella Valley Invitational. Leagues Cup, not so much. I really don't care about Leagues Cup. I know it's in the summer, but I heard that MLS is not giving up on Leagues Cup. They're gonna figure out a way to bring it back and still shoehorn it into the MLS season. So if you thought, oh, we're gonna have a nice go at it from start to finish, no, somehow Garber's gonna find a way to slam Leagues Cup into the middle of the season. Uh, U.S. Open Cup, a lot of people are wondering about that. Um, U.S. Open Cup begins like right now. A lot of the local teams, like the Park League teams, are all playing right now, and it runs. Then the major, the more professional teams start joining like in February, and then it's going to run. It usually runs until May, and then there's a break during the summer, and then it picks up again in July, late July and August as they start the quarterfinals. So what does that mean for MLS? That for the U.S. Open Cup, teams that are going to be participating, that's going to be either their preseason or they're like right off the bat. As soon as they start the season, they're in the U.S. Open Cup, and I don't know. It's going to be kind of odd. Coachella Valley Invitational, which a lot of us really liked. I really like going there. It's nice. The weather's wonderful, especially because that time of the year is still kind of cold in some pockets of the country. Not going to have it anymore because it's in February. So that means is MLS going to move it to the middle of the summer? I know there's an MLS, there was an LFC podcaster who was like, "There's no way that they're going to have the Coachella Valley Invitational in Indio in the middle of summer when it's 115 degrees out there and the humidity is off the charts, right? You could have people like falling like flies." But I was like, "Don't tempt them, dude. MLS might actually do that just to get that money dollar in there."
They
So
just
there's a
gotta.
lot of changes, and I know that people will be like, "Edgar, why are you complaining?" Because I feel like MLS has done well to compete against Major League Baseball already. I feel like Major League Baseball, it's so expensive. A lot of those kids, that usually go there during the summer would rather go to a Galaxy game where they're closer to the action, and you build that relationship with them. That's another thing. Like I said, kids are out in the summer. MLS is not going to be able to pad their stats with attendance numbers with kids, from AYSO teams or just kids in general coming to those games. So that's going to be interesting. Um, Alex, I know out there you guys have Utah Mammoth, right? And like I said, you have the Utah Jazz. If I know you're committed to RSL, but if you were like your casual fan and you had tickets for either the Mammoth or the Jazz, and the same day you hear, oh, RSL's playing against, I don't know, Austin FC or whatever, where are you gonna go?
You know, I'd probably sit on my couch and watch it all on the YouTube TV multi-view.
My man.
Because ESPN's back on YouTube TV, and so I'd probably just pull it up and watch everything on my couch.
That's
No,
that's fair.
but in all serious, soccer's my thing, and so I would do my best to make sure I can make it out to that soccer game.
There you go. In your face, Edgar. But the
Oh,
thing about this too, I wonder if like obviously we're sitting here, they're sitting in their fancy office and shit, and they know better than we do. So I wonder if they're prepared or if they've done the numbers. Like there's a potential loss at first. Like this can be a long game, right? Like they're preparing for like, all right, we're gonna take this hit at first because we're gonna compete, and it's gonna be like people are gonna rather do like what Edgar just asked you, right? There's people that rather go to a Laker game or Dodger game or whatever, it crosses paths with, and it's going to be uh, more consistent than it is right now. So I wonder if they're ready for that. It's like, I wonder how those meetings went. Like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. But for like the first 6 years, you're going to lose about $40 million.
I think it might take a second, and it might take a minute for people who have been following this league and covering this league for a really long time to get around to the idea of that calendar. But I think overall, in the long term and in the long perspective of looking at the growth of Major League Soccer, I think it helps out a lot because there are teams and there are smaller market teams in Major League Soccer like Real Salt Lake who have been victims of the past of the transfer markets and the way they line up. The winter market, um, for the European side, right? It isn't the big one. There's no expiring contracts heading into that window, right? It's all mid season for the European market, whereas it's preseason for MLS. Uh, it has been an issue in the past for a team like Real Salt Lake where they try to go and get a player in that winter window and they can't pry away that player because they're they're still mid-season, right? They don't want to leave the club they're at. They want to finish their season there before they even think about moving on. And then by the time the summer rolls around, they already have other plans. And Rouse Lake kind of gets left there with, having to scramble for a backup plan or a backup option. It happened this past winter with a Brazilian player. It also happened. It also there's also a plan that fell through with a player coming out of Portugal who wanted to stay in Portugal and help his team avoid relegation. And so there's situations like that I think can help the growth of the league, right? And bringing in players from the transfer market perspective because you are now lined up with the expiring contracts. The free agents in Europe and the free agents in most leagues hit the free agency market in May and June once those contracts are up at the end of the season, right? And that's why you see guys like Thomas Muller and Heung-min Son coming into Major League Soccer in for the last 10 games of the regular season because that's when the regular season for the every other league ends. So it might help mitigate that.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a really good point. Something that I didn't put on my notes. But yeah, competing with the transfer market is a huge deal. And yeah, like I said, it might take a minute, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The only thing I think is like, I wish they would have done this earlier. Could have done it like right after this World Cup. Just catch that lightning in a bottle right there when everyone's excited and they're still here. Like, oh, we're starting 2 days after the World Cup ends. While you're still here from whatever country you can watch. But yeah,
MLS always does that though. They're always like a year or two after, later after the World Cup. Because remember when World Cup '94 came here, the whole point was that MLS was supposed to start like right after. They're like, no, 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 we're gonna wait. 2 more years. And and then it started. And you're like, okay, fine, but some of the buzz from the World Cup had kind of died down at that point. But luckily, our league is still here. We're still talking about it.
It's
Um,
yeah. It's called strategy, Edgar. That's why we're sitting here and they're sitting
and,
on
I,
those
and I'm in a
fat blankets.
submarine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you have a submarine. You're doing just fine.
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to bring up, and Bryant will bring this up real quick. It's a chart that I put up, and you've probably seen some of these like thrown up around a bunch of
Oh,
social media, and that is the division charts, right?
that's cute. Your
Because
son did that.
no, I did that like really quick. But so this is a division chart. We heard that MLS is going to be single table, which is a pretty big deal, right? I guess the supporter shield is going to matter again, right? So kinda, but yeah, it's going to be a single table, and apparently they're going to break everything up into 5 different divisions. And then let's start in the East because those are the easier ones because they're all grouped together. And so in the Northeast, we have Toronto, Montreal, Red Bull, New York, Philly, NYCFC, and the Revs. The only one that I see kind of that should have been in that group is DC United because they traditionally had big rivalries with the Revs, the Red Bulls, and now with NYCFC. Um, but I don't know. They're kind of like in the gray area. In the Midwest, there, well, not the Midwest, but kind of like the North. There, you have Minnesota, Sporting KC, St. Louis, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Columbus. You got 6 teams that all hate each other. Like the Cincinnati and the Crew hate each other. Chicago and St. Louis, they have a natural rivalry from their sports with NHL and MLB, and then Kansas City and Minnesota are supposed to have the friendliest rivalry in MLS from what we've heard in the past. And then you got the Southeast, where like I said DC United's going to be there, and then you got all these teams besides DC United. All these other teams, they all really, really hate each other. I follow most of the podcasts in that region, and all these teams detest each other. Like they hate each other. So you got Atlanta, Charlotte, Nashville, Orlando, and Miami. So that makes sense. And then you get to the you start hitting as west of the Mississippi, and things get kind of weird because there's less major cities as you head west, and you start to see groups. Like in Texas, you have the 3 Texas teams: Dallas, Austin, Houston. And then you have RSL and Colorado up in the Rockies. And then you head to Cascadia, and you have the 3 teams that have been rivals forever, Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland. And then you head down into North California, you have the Quakes. And then you have Southern California, obviously, LAFC, Galaxy, and San Diego. And then you're like, okay, so how are we going to break up these teams, right? Because there's no way in any scenario would you see that all 4 California teams are going to remain in the same division, although geographically speaking, they're supposed to be in the same division, right? Because they're all in the same state. Um, but then you leave the 3 Cascadia teams out there. So what do you do? So I brought up some scenarios, right? 2 of the scenarios that I keep seeing. Um, the first one for the Cascadia teams, and then the Quakes, and then you have RSL and Colorado. Like, all right, the Northwest, I guess. And then that means that then the Quakes get separated from the LA Galaxy in that old Classico, California Classico, and then you have LAFC, Galaxy, San Diego going up against the Texas teams, right? Or you have the other one, right, where it's like you take the Cascadia teams and then you group them in with San Jose, LAFC, and the Galaxy, and San Diego being, the newest team out of all those. It only took these guys 1 year to like earn the hate from all the other teams in California. So they made quite an impact, but they don't have the same history that Galaxy, LAFC, Chivas USA, right, and San Jose have with each other. So then in that case, you'd have RSL, Colorado, San Diego with the Texas teams, and it's like, what's gonna happen? So that's one thing, right? As we look at this map right here. The other thing is, um, apparently the division winners from each team is also going to qualify to the playoffs. So that's going to be kind of odd, and
The
they still
NBA did
haven't.
that the past.
Well, they haven't said exactly how many teams are going to go to the playoffs, and this is a topic that we discussed a lot in our MLS group chat. Alex, I don't know if you saw that, but It's like everybody agreed. We have way too many teams making the playoffs. It's stupid.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I have not kept up because I think it is ridiculous that the first round has been lasting 3 weeks. There is no need for this best of three to last 3 freaking weeks.
And look at what happened to the Pigeons. They lost one of their best players, during international break, and
Yep.
and
Another reason why the calendar, why changing the calendar is a good thing.
well, I mean, no, this is because Garver wanted that best of three series, right? Each one of those games could have been a knockout game, like we had in the past. A few seasons ago, we had those one-off games. MLS Cup could have already been wrapped up,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
right?
like 3 game series at all. Aggregate would have
No,
been better. One offs are better. Anything.
and
Anything that is in a 3 game series.
I,
Fucking
I
rock,
think
paper,
I think
scissors, bro. I
I
don't
think
care.
I think one you have to get rid of this stupid plan that we play.
yes,
9 teams in general should not be making it to the playoffs. Two, you get rid of the best of three series, and you condense it. You make it shorter, and you make it difficult for more teams to make it to the playoffs. You make it less, and you make the regular season mean more. I feel like right now, because 9 teams in each conference get into the playoffs, it takes a lot of the value away from the regular season. There are so many teams in the Seattle is a great example of this, right? Of teams that kind of throw in the towel at the beginning of the season. They're more focused on CONCACAF Champions League. They don't care what happens in Major League Soccer for until the summer, and then once the summer hits, they finally kick it into gear and get it together to sneak into the playoffs, and then from there they figure it out, right? You have to keep, especially when it's 34 games, you have to find ways to make the regular season matter more, and that is one way to do it. You make it harder to make it into the playoffs.
Yep.
yeah, and baseball
Agree.
has done this to their detriment. I feel like when I was growing up, right, we had the division, I'm sorry, the championship series in both National League, American League, and then you had the World Series. Boom, and every game was really important when it came to the final game of the season. You had teams that were on the brink of making the playoffs, and some teams would have 100 and something wins and they still wouldn't make the playoffs. And that was fine because that means that the team got in was even better. And then you have these epic matchups in the playoffs in baseball. Now you have these things where like a team will have like God knows how many wins. They get into like the stupid wild card round and they're out after one game. And it's like, what the hell was that? That was so stupid. And it's like your whole season is gone just like that in a blink of an eye. And it's like, oh, high stakes. No, it's stupid. You got to make the regular season count more. And here's the thing that we all agreed upon in our group chat. This is like a bunch of MLS podcasts. We all said, get rid of all these damn playoff teams. Make it just the top 8. That's it. Make it just the top 8, and it will matter. And then teams will be fighting tooth and nail.
You
And then
mean
when those teams
wait,
get
hold on.
into the playoffs,
You
it's
mean
Single
a single
table
table
top
only
8.
8?
single top 8. Yes, single
Wow.
table top 8. That's what
You know,
everybody was saying.
you
Make
know
it
what?
single table top
It's
8.
not a bad idea, but I don't think it will happen because
Money
I
talks.
think there is some owners who still want the participation trophies of
Boo.
saying that they can make they found success in their team because they made the playoffs.
Yeah. How do you make the schedule balance? It's just too many teams now, and yeah, I don't know. I don't
Well,
see it
I
either.
think
well,
I
well,
think the good thing with the divisions, and I think this is what Edgar was just about to say. The good thing with the divisions is that now everything will be single table. You are going to play every single team in the league. However, with your divisions, you'll play
Multiple
those
teams.
teams, those home and away. But then the other teams, you'll see them once a season. So I mean, the good thing is you will see everybody at least
yeah.
once. But your division, you'll play a little bit more.
So La Habra sports fan brings up an interesting topic, and it's like I hate the Leagues Cup myself, right? I think that if MLS is going to play Liga MX, it should be where it's always been, which is in the Champions Cup or the Champions League. Making the Leagues Cup like the Concacaf's version of Europa League, I mean, should not a bad idea. I think we used to have something in the past. I forgot what it was called, but I think it was Recopa or something. But I don't think it'd be a bad idea. But obviously, Leagues Cup is not a CONCACAF creation. It's an MLS creation. And knowing Don Garber, he'd probably want to sell the rights to it or something to CONCACAF. And cheap ass CONCACAF is probably say no, and that'll be in the end of
Yeah.
that. So, but as far as the other topics, you guys have anything to say? I said Coachella Valley Invitational. I really like it. I think it's like a great spring training for our teams. Can you imagine, by the way, being an MLS player?
Just
and being told you gotta have your training whatever in the middle of summer at
they should just
some
start
location.
they should just start the season. Well, it starts in, when does it end, in May? Just end it like earlier, and then do it like in April, like a couple days before Coachella, so I can like just stay there like for a whole week, watch soccer, and then go out and enjoy some music. I mean, it sounds like a great idea to me. Yeah, no one. All right, cool.
So I
Crickets.
mean, Alex, you know about the CVI, right? Coachella Valley Invitational.
Yes.
Um,
I think Salt
it's
Lake comes, right?
what's that?
Salt Lake comes to the CBI too,
I
right?
don't remember if I saw them last this past year, but
I
I
think
know
that
a lot of teams from the East Coast were there.
I know one preseason we did. I just
Yeah,
can't
it
remember
might
if
have
it
been.
was this past one or the one before that.
I think it was the past one, like not this last year, but the one before. But it's a great, like I said, it's a great thing for teams from the East Coast that are wanting to get away from the chill and you know come over here and get some nice California summer. I mean, it's California heat before the season begins, and it's a great way for MLS fans to hang out and congregate. I really like that. It was nice. I got to meet a lot of wonderful people like that. So that's one thing that I think I'm gonna miss. Anything else, Alex? What do you think?
No, I think again in the long term it will be mostly positive for Major League Soccer to make these changes. I think it'll be again when it comes to transfer windows, when it comes to avoiding international windows during the playoffs, when it comes to lining yourself up with the rest of the world. And as far as matching the calendars right for FIFA and for European competitions. I think in the long term, it is a good thing for Major League Soccer. It's obviously going to take some getting used to. I remember when Rouse Lake was sold in April to the Larry H. Miller Company. We got new owners earlier this season, and I remember being in those conversations right there, those interviews that we did with them at the beginning of the season to get to interview him, to get to know him a little bit. And they mentioned that stadium renovations for America First Field was at the top of their list. And they mentioned too that they're looking at ways to heat the stadium better because they knew the winter schedule was coming. And so now that it's here, I'm curious to see what kind of other teams announce and what other teams begin to look at to make sure that fans can stay comfortable in the winter months at their stadiums.
All right, that was pretty insightful. So that pretty much brings us towards the end. We'll do this one quick. I did have it here. MLS Cup predictions. If you guys weren't aware, I mean, it's been like 73 days since the last playoff game, but there's still playoffs going on.
Yeah.
In the West, we have Vancouver at home versus LAFC, San Diego at home versus Minnesota. In the East, we have Cincy. That's funny. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm looking at my notes and I put Cincy versus Messi.
That's
I
fine.
swear I didn't do it on purpose, and I just that's hilarious. Cincy at home versus Miami. Philly at home versus NYFC. So, Alex, since you're our guest, I'll let you go first. Who makes it to the semis? Who goes to the final? How's this gonna play out?
Vancouver Whitecaps MLS Cup winners.
Oof.
Putting it out there right now. The Whitecaps go all the way. They take down LAFC. I think San Diego will make it past Minnesota. You get Vancouver, San Diego in the Western Conference Final. Vancouver Western Conference champions. They go to MLS Cup Final against Cincinnati and they end up winning it. Let's go Vancouver.
He said,
Wow, wow.
Cincy.
By the way, I do have some. I did run a poll on these. I've been running polls on
you,
these, and
you and
I
your
could share the
fools.
results from those. Hey, hey. So here we go. I said LAFC versus Vancouver. The LAFC versus Vancouver is the third straight in a year that they play each other in the playoffs. LAFC won the first two times. I said that this time feels different. Uh, LAFC was gets 183 votes total and 80% for LAFC. Well, we'll see. I guess a lot of LAFC fans, voted for them. And the next one, San Diego FC versus Minnesota, 60 to 40% in favor of San Diego. FC Cincinnati versus Inter Miami, 58% say FC Cincinnati is going to move on. And then the big one, I think it's really important. It's like I think this is the one game that is like on the edge of a knife, and that's Philly versus New York City, because overall in their entire history they have the same amount of wins and losses against each other, with I think like four draws in between. And this season they even like they had 1-0 games against each other. So but everybody says Philly's going to advance 63%. Um, and then I would love to see Vancouver win. I think it'd be awesome. Vancouver versus FC Cincinnati would be fantastic for the league. Uh, we discussed in our last show whether or not it would be a good thing if Inter Miami got knocked out, because everybody always expects Messi to get the red carpet rolled out for him, and it has not been that way for him, right? So, Alex, your take on that real quick before you head out.
I think Messi fatigue is a real thing, and I think a lot of people who have been watching this league for a while and a long time are ready. I wouldn't say necessarily over Lionel Messi, but are over the treatment that Miami and Lionel Messi get. And so I don't think, because of the way that they play defensively and the way Mascherano plays his system, I don't think they're set up to win MLS Cup. And I think Cincinnati, front to back, is a more complete team. Yes, they have all this firepower. Miami does. They have all this firepower up top, but I think Cincinnati is the more complete team. They're, I think, my favorite to come out of the East, and then, like I said, Vancouver is my favorite to go all the way.
All right, so I think you're kind of right. I think Vancouver goes through. I think it's Vancouver, San Diego, then Vancouver makes it through. I I'm not a Messi fan. I'm a Madrista. Fuck Messi. I'll say it. I don't care. MLS can get us flagged. Uh, I think they're gonna pull it off. I think the league is gonna do everything possible. They want those numbers. They want to see leading into a World Cup year too. They would love to see Messi and holding up that fucking trophy and promoting that, and during World Cup games, MLS soccer and Messi lifting the fucking trophy. But how awesome though would it be a Vancouver Miami final, because they have that drama from when he didn't play, right? I know he already went back once, but I'm sure that still lives, in Miami's, and I'm sorry, not Miami's, Vancouver fans' freaking hearts, So that
By the
should
way,
be.
don't forget, Eddie, Vancouver knocked the crap out of them in the Champions Cup.
Yeah, that's when he went back, right? That's when he
Yeah.
actually did go. Yeah, so that'd be an interesting final as well, because there's storylines there. But I think ultimately it's they're gonna do it. As much as I hate Messi, he's it's Lionel Messi, and then if these guys turn it on, and then you have their storyline with like Alba and all them, playing their last games. The league's is gonna do everything they can, and these guys are probably gonna give it all. And you can't doubt the talent and how great these guys are. So I think they might just be a little too much for anybody. As much as I don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, I can just put a positive spin on it. It could be good for the league, right? For motion, like I said, put those graphics up during the World Cup. So, and then we do this podcast in 2028. And then we talk about how we can't go to MLS games no more because we got priced out. Because it became so popular. Like, did you guys watch that game on Apple TV?
No.
Brian, you want to chime in? Just pick a winner. If you don't want to give the whole thing, just pick a winner. Yeah, I wore my Vancouver colors. See.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guys in the podcasters are nice guys too. They're Canadian, so we like them.
Hey, La Harbor Sports, please delete your comment. MLS is feeding for Messi versus Levas final. Don't put that out in the universe.
It'd be Messi versus Son. That'd be crazy.
Don't. We got one more super chat before we wrap it up. Bring it up, Brian. Go ahead, Edgar.
Adam asks, thank you so much, Adam. $5 super chat. And Adam asks, isn't Apple TV the reason why the first round of the playoffs is a 3-game series? Unfortunately, suddenly when they came in, it changed because of money. That is absolutely correct. In fact, an LAFC podcaster guy brought it to my attention. He's like, hey, Edgar, what was it? When did the whole best of 3 start? And I'm like, he's like, wasn't it? He's like, wasn't it when? He's like, was it when Messi started? I'm like, yes, you're absolutely correct. I was like, he joined the team and they were so bad that even after he joined, they couldn't make the playoffs. And it's true, the Messi cash grab. So Would we like to see it go? Yes, please. I remember when it was around at the beginning of MLS, it was kind of silly, but and then it went away, and I was happy, and now it came back. I thought it was kind of regression.
Hey, we have some like crazy memories, like good and bad, from like aggregate scores and one off games. So I mean, I want to get rid of. If they said fuck it, you know what, you guys, we're gonna go back and just consider the first game from the first round. I'll be fine with that. Let's just start it. Let's make it prorated. Let's go back, or let's just do it now. Fuck this 3-game series. But
All right, guys, we gotta let poor Alex go because Alex is a busy man, and I know he
Alex,
works late.
get out of here. Get out of here. There's
No.
another super chat here, so get out of here.
There's
Thank
another
you,
Sorry,
Alex,
super
so
guys.
chat.
much.
Sorry, guys. I have to go
No, you're
record
good. No,
some other stuff, man.
we
But
we might run into you in a few weeks, man. Come
so
on
yeah,
in.
absolutely. Hit me up. Let me know. I'll welcome you guys into Utah the best way we can. And then I thank you guys for having me on. Love sharing my thoughts with you guys. Love catching up with the Nag boys, and looking forward to being on again soon, man.
All right.
Good, everybody.
Yeah, Alex. Thank you. See you.
Have a
now,
good night.
man.
Thanks, Super Chat.
And we have a $10 super chat from our boy. Bring it up.
Delta airline lover.
What? Our buddy, Steven Ma. What's up, Steven? $10 super chat. He says, with the way this offseason is going so far, being a Korean Galaxy fan feels like being a Toronto Blue Jays fan. Ouch. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think that at the next El Tráfico, you should show up wearing your Korean Sun jersey just to throw everybody off and see what happens.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
So show up wearing it, put on your Galaxy hat, and just walk around. Reminds me of the time I went to a USA versus Wales watch party, and then it's at a Galaxy bar out here in this area. And a guy walks in wearing an LAFC Gareth Bale jersey and wearing a U.S. soccer hat, and everybody's like, "What the hell?" That is so like odd. But Eddie, is that true?
What's true?
Oh, you missed the ribbon, man.
Oh, something with boogers. I saw the ending. Hold on.
It's coming
Eddie
around
likes
again.
eating
Man.
his boogers. Hey, I like salty. What can I say?
Hey.
Hey, food. Not all of us can afford a submarine. Some of us got to eat somehow.
By the way, there's some other like weird stuff that happened during this week. Apparently, at some point, New York Red Bull, the team, they announced that they were going to officially change their name to be Red Bull New York, to be in accordance with the other teams under the Red Bull brand, like Red Bull Salzburg, RB Leipzig, and Red Bull Rio. I think there's one. They have teams all over the world that they own. So now it's like I've always called them Red Bull New York, but I guess now it's official. You can still call them the Red Bulls, but yeah.
Call them whatever you want. They still lost us in the final. So, anyways, I mean that's pretty much it, boys. Unless you guys got something else. Okay, I take that as a no. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I know we've been on for a minute. I'm not sure when we'll be back on. Myself personally either. We're getting into the holiday season. I hope everyone has a happy holidays. Take care of yourself. I know that for some people these times can be rough, and I always open myself to anybody that may need someone to talk to or just some kind of guidance. I am and trying to be a big advocate for men's mental health. So you can find me on Instagram as my first name, Eduardo Camp _ So Edgar, where can I find you?
Yeah, you mentioned future shows. I am working right now to put together another MLS playoff show like we had one last week. And this time we're going to have guests from LAFC, Miami, probably Philly. So look forward to that. We will announce it as soon as we get everything squared and settled. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter as Edgar Nags. Also Blue Sky. You guys can find me on Instagram as Edgar Nags as well. keep on nagging and Wu-Tang for life. Bryant.
He sped through that one. It was the fastest I've ever seen you speak up, Brian. Oh, and big shout out to my childhood friend Kubas, who welcomed his first baby, and my hetero LA Galaxy life partner David Godino, aka Godino Art, who also welcomed his baby a couple months back, and is about to go through their first holiday with their babies. Hey, the Galaxy fan base is growing, right? Shout out to them, because we're not gonna do it.
One last thing. Also, thanks to everyone that joined us on the chat tonight. You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for all the super chats, for the conversation, the banter. We really appreciate it. We love having you on here, and we look forward to having you guys chat again next time we're on.
All right. Hey, my name's Eddie. I've been your host today. For Edgar, for Bryant, we're gonna get up out of here. Until next time, we'll see you in Ogden. Keep on nagging. Bye.